Greetings and welcome everyone to the first installment of our Heights Family Academy webinar. Heights Family Academy isn't just our annual Parent University event. It has provided a way to nestle and connect to one another, where we learn ways to better support students. It has become an approach to how CHUH engages and welcomes families as essential partners in their children's education. A way to open conversations that build stronger schools, families, and communities. It's where we work together in making essential connections to information, resources, and partnership practices. Heights Family Academy is one example of our district's commitment to practicing effective family and community engagement, which is one of our strategic priorities. This Sessions on transitions have consistently been a part of the Academy because we know that these are fragile points in the educational journeys of our students and families, and that they need and deserve increased support, intentionality, and communication. I am Lisa Hunt, and it is an honor to serve CHUH schools as the Family Engagement Specialist. And on behalf of Tiger Nation, thank you for joining us. Our conversations for this session will center on navigating the transition from elementary to middle school, which is a pretty big adjustment for both students and families. So today we'll take some time to talk a bit about what to expect to better prepare and address some of the concerns which can feel overwhelming. It is our hope that these sessions will help lessen any anxiety and help build more confidence for everyone. We know it's an adjustment for students. It means increasing the number of classes, assignments, and homework, and changes in social dynamics, significantly more students, and the need to switch classes in bustling hallways. There's new expectations and responsibilities, and that's a lot to take in. But it's also an adjustment for families and caregivers because it means changes in communication and going from one teacher to a team of teachers, a new principal, and school leadership, shifting your role and how you support your child, and making the adjustment to supporting an adolescent, which on its own can feel like a push and pull, as preteens and teens are by very nature, pulling away to establish more independence, adjusting to new social norms, taking on more responsibility, and grappling with change within themselves. So it really is a lot for everyone. And while we can't tackle everything in one power hour, we do hope the transition series will help foster deeper, more informed conversations that help students both inside and outside of the classroom. During our time together, we'll hear a few different perspectives to help us better prepare for this shift and some helpful advice for preparing for this adjustment. And after our feature presenter, I'll be sharing additional resources and opportunities. The presentation and this webinar will be made available on our district's website, chuh.org, under the Family Engagement tab, or you can visit the district's YouTube channel for ongoing access. First up, I'd like to invite a parent partner, Ms. Katie Stone. Come on in, Katie, join the conversation. Hi, Katie.
How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Thanks for being here. So you are a parent of a Roxborough middle school student, right?
I am. We've almost survived the first year at Roxborough, which has been, has had its challenges, but we've also had a lot of successes too.
That's good to hear. So you're right in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So I think you'll have a great perspective. Can you speak in general about the adjustments you've made or had to make in just parenting an adolescent in general?
Yeah, I was not prepared for how maybe moody they might be and how many feelings were going to be happening. Boys and girls, I think, both go through those changes. But I think just continued communication, concise communication, just kind of keeping it short and sweet, I found works the best. But yeah, it's been definitely growing pains on both, my son and, my husband and I, we've had to kind of adjust things in general.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for mentioning that. It's, moods, keeping those messages direct and short and keeping the door open to communication. I love that you said that. So I think we'll all agree with what you said. But can you also talk about some of the adjustments that you've made in regard to moving from elementary to middle school as a parent?
Yeah. So I think that we all kind of know that going from being a fifth grader in elementary school, you're kind of the king of the castle, and just that adjustment to being a sixth grader in a school that you don't know with a lot of kids that you're unfamiliar with is a really big adjustment. And I found that encouraging, more participation, so it's very easy to kind of get swept, not swept under the rug, but swept away with the kids that might not want to participate necessarily, or they might not think it's cool, or they're a little bit unsure. But I think just continuing that push to get them to go to the dances, participate in the after school clubs, make those new friends, I think is really important. And some are more successful than others, and they're not going to be going to everything, let's say in middle school. But I think that just pushing a little bit more does have some benefits.
It does have benefits, and there's always something that you can find. I think Frisbee Club saved our sixth grade life. But I think you're right. Just kind of, it's a time for them to flourish, right, and try some new things. And so that's really great advice. Thank you so much for that. Is there anything else that you'd like to offer to tell parents a couple of things to know or one thing to know before they go?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing for my husband and I was that we found that communicating with the teachers one on one, more of in an email format, was more successful than waiting in line at the parent teacher conferences and the curriculum nights. We were able to get very quick answers and solve problems very quickly, just reaching out. And I think it helped show the teachers, that we were really invested in our child's education. But I would really encourage you to form those relationships, especially, if you know that your student doesn't have or might need a little bit more assistance in one subject or another. Getting those relationships started sooner than later. We found a lot of success with that. And, hopefully you guys will too.
I love that. Katie, you mentioned like you don't have to wait for parent teacher conferences to have a conference, right? So,
No, no. And everybody's been really, really supportive and really there's been great partnerships. Like a lot of kids, math is a hard subject in our house for everybody. So, really getting those relationships sooner than later. We found very, very big successes that way.
communication, 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 and it should be two-way. So thank you for being a partner and thanks for that sage advice. Why don't we go ahead and get a student perspective in? I want to go ahead and introduce our student. I want to say she's a Monticello learning leader. She also serves on our National Network of Partnership Schools Action Team at Monticello. I'd like to welcome Ms. Hayden Dowdy to our conversation. Hi, Hayden, where are you?
Hi, I'm good.
There you are.
Yeah.
It's good to see your face. Thank you for being here. So
Thank you.
you're currently a seventh grader, is that right?
Yes, I am.
Seventh grader at Monticello, right? Again, right in that middle.
Yeah.
So you've got some experience behind you. I think that's wonderful. What are some of the things that you like about being a Monticello middle school student?
Some things I like being about a Monticello middle schooler is there's a lot of opportunities you can have. There's many types of field trips you can go on. I've been on a bunch of college field trips this year, which have been really fun. There's clubs and sports you can play. Well, those are mostly in seventh and eighth, but there's just a lot of things you can do. There's student council, which I'm a part of, and it's really fun. We get to kind of work together and brainstorm and make up new things for our school. There's different dances you can go to. It's more of an open experience you can have. There's new things that come and go, but there's a lot of things. Like I said, dances. There's a lot of fun things you can do. It's really fun.
Hayden, you made it sound super fun and super exciting. And like college trips, that's pretty great too.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. I love that. I don't think we started that until my like way late. So I'm glad we're thinking about college and being prepared for that a lot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite part of the school day?
My favorite part of the school day are my UAs. So basically, stands for Unified Arts, and that's art, Spanish. There's Chinese. There's gym, music. There's a lot of things because normally in not middle school, sorry. Normally in elementary school, you call them specials. So those are just times you can have, like I said, art, and I really love Avid a lot, which is like college readiness, and I love it.
I was gonna call you on it. Anytime you use an acronym in education, just so everybody's on the same page, we have to sort of explain it. So I think that's advancement via individual determination, the AVID program.
Yeah.
So you're an AVID student too, which is great. And so that is preparing you for lifelong success, right?
Yes.
Study skills, college preparedness, organization.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, I knew you were a leader, but you've got all the great ingredients and you're taking advantage of some really great programs that'll set you on a pathway for lifelong success.
Yeah, it's always better to start earlier than to wait late. So
absolutely. That should be a t-shirt. So if you were to speak specifically to some elementary school students, what would you tell them about being prepared to be a middle schooler? What would you tell the students?
If I could talk to the students, I would tell them about, there's nothing really to be worried about. It seems really scary at first. You're in a new school, there's new teachers, there's new everything. But my first day, I was really nervous, but I got there and it was really fun. Lockers can be scary too, but, once the 2-week mark, you start to get the hang of them. So I really tell them, there's nothing to be worried about. You'll make so many new friends along the way. It's a really fun experience to have as a kid.
I love that. Sometimes middle school does seem scary, and you made it sound absolutely fun and amazing. And you looked at it from an asset lens, like all the things that you can gain. So they've got a summer to kind of prepare. Anything that they should do during the summer to maybe get ready?
Yeah, I really recommend getting a lock so you can practice trying opening it over the summer so you can get the hang of the locker when you get there. And I also recommend going to orientation so you can try your locker out before the school year actually starts.
Those lockers, that's a big thing, right? You only have so much time to get that combination open, and you want to be able to be confident in it and well-versed. That's a great summer thing to work on. Yeah. I know we have orientations and opportunities for families to come and students to come and walk the building. So thank you for encouraging people to come.
Yeah.
Hayden, you're awesome. Thank you so much for being a leader, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Stay on in case we've got more conversations.
Okay.
So next up, I'd like to introduce our featured presenter, Ms. Tara Seals. She's joining us live from Atlanta, Georgia. Tara is also known as the BOSSY Educator, and I love it because it really captures how she encompasses her work, teaching, learning, and earning. She's a much needed voice in advocacy for teachers, parents, and students. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about Ms. Seals, who's authored over 10 books, with 3 being on the bestsellers list. As I mentioned before, she's an educator, but she's also an entrepreneur and a philanthropist. She has over 20 plus years in education, teaching young people of all ages from all around the world. And she serves as a highly sought after speaker, presenter, and parent advocate, including providing support for navigating special education programs. Ms. Seals is also a business leader and creator of education solutions for K-12 schools. I have to add, she's also part of a dynamic duo as her husband, Lavelle, amazing tech specialist who's developed PIMS points, the Be Engaged Family and Community Engagement Support System that I am still trying to launch in our district. Tara, are you there?
I am here. Hello, everyone. And thank you so much,
Hello.
Lisa, for that beautiful introduction. I appreciate that.
You are welcome. I am going to turn over the reins to you. I'm going to stop presenting and I'm going to go off camera and listen. I'm here if you need me, but it is all you. Are you going to pull up your presentation?
I'm about to bring it up now and we can go ahead and get started. And also, Lisa,
if you have the presentation, do it one more time for me because it was there and now it's disappeared like magic.
No problem at all. We will grab that again and make sure we are ready to go.
It's not fun if you don't have any tech glitches.
You better believe it.
Exciting.
You better believe it. So, do you all see my screen now, friends?
We do not. Nope. Try it one more time for me.
No? Okay. 1 second. Let's try that again.
As we navigate Google and a bunch of other platforms, it's look at you. There it is.
You see it now?
I can see it now, and I'm going to go off camera. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So with the presentation, I want to make sure you all go ahead and grab.
Tara, I hate to interrupt you. I hate to do it. It went away, and now it's there. Okay, so it comes and it goes. So do it one more time for me.
Okay, no problem at all. We're going to get it.
And I'll tell you when it's there. Like, don't click anything.
Okay, 1 second. Let me grab it again. No worries. And I'll share my screen first, and then I'll go to it because something is happening when I actually go into the link. So,
and I'm wondering, it is there.
See it now?
We are good. Do not touch it.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone in the CHUH family. I want to go ahead and tell you that I'm super excited about being here this evening to share this amazing information with you. Please go ahead and grab your note-taking tool so that you can jot down all of the information. And also, if you have any questions, jot those down as well. And Lisa will provide you with a Google Form link to present your questions. And of course, we will have those answers prepared. So let's go ahead and jump into our workshop today. The name of the workshop is How to Successfully Prepare Your Child for a Transition from Elementary to Middle School. So on today's agenda, we have overview of 6th grade, academic, social lives of middle schoolers, student clubs activities, school buses and dismissal, lunch and cafeteria information, first day of school information, and 8 ways to calm first day jitters. So overview of 6th grade, getting your child comfortable in their new school. Your child should find the location of all the things, honey. And all of the things include their classes, their front office, the restroom, the cafeteria, the gymnasium, lockers. Hayden mentioned lockers earlier. Remember those lockers? They should know where that's located. The nurse's office, just in case of emergency, the library, the counselor's office, the administrator's office, you name it. So it'll be very good to actually get a map of the school before you arrive so that you will know where everything is located. Some students, they get stressed out when they're not in the right places or familiar spaces. So we want to make sure that they're not lost and they don't get frustrated. If the school issues your child a locker, okay, create a plan with your child so they can arrive to all of their classes on time. Because if they're not used to changing classes, this will be something that will become a stress point, and we don't want that to happen. We want to be proactive. So they should arrive to all of their classes on time, and guess what? With books, supplies, uniforms for that PE class if they need it, and so much more. You and your child should know the teachers, counselors, and administrators by name. Be sure to communicate and ask questions when you need answers. Academics. There are 4 core academic classes, and they are English, social studies, math, and science. Now, there are other class options such as music, art, drama, life skills, PE, And I think Hayden referred to those as UA of Unified Arts in the CHUH school district, okay? But keep in mind, class options can change from semester to semester. These options will vary depending on what school your child attends in middle school. So keep all those things in mind. Now, for physical education, a uniform may be required, so make sure you ask that question, and it also may be a fee. Some of the things that they may learn in PE are soccer, bowling, volleyball, fitness, and overall group activities. For the grading and homework in middle school, students earn letter grades of A, B, C, D, or F on their report cards in varying numerical values. The standard values are posted here. For example, 90 to 100 represents letter grade A in the Cleveland Heights, University Heights City School District. Homework in middle school is usually graded and averaged in as a portion of the student's grade. So what does that mean? Homework is a must. It has to be done. Keep in mind, typically the homework load is 20 minutes per subject per day. And of course, that may vary. Regarding time management, your child should manage their time wisely, whether it is homework, completing assignments, major projects, or studying for tests. And regarding study habits, help your child create a daily schedule and learn really good study habits ahead of time. That will be a great point to practice over the summer to get those study habits down packed before middle school begins. Now let's talk about school supplies. So with school supplies, there are two main supply groups that I always say my students need to have in order to be prepared daily. The agenda book. I don't know if you've seen the agenda book, but it is an essential planner in which students can write down homework assignments, upcoming projects, dated activities, or any other important information. Sixth graders will have many different classes and teacher expectations to keep track of. So writing down everything is very essential. And regarding folders or binders, in addition to the agenda book, each child should keep a folder or a binder for each class. A separate folder or binder for homework is ideal. Students should be provided with a list of supplies the summer before the school year begins. So make sure you look for that. And if you don't receive it, just simply send out an email and they should provide that to you. But organization has been the number one issue and stressor that my middle school students have endured. So, hey, we're going to be proactive. Make sure we have our agenda and folders or binders. Next up is band and chorus. Now, I was a member of both. I was a trumpet player and I sung in the choir. So I just believe that students are way more successful when they are involved and have things to take up some of that time outside of doing homework, tests, and other things with family. So let's talk about the band. The band is a group of student musicians who rehearse and perform instrumental music together under the direction of one or more band directors. Some instrument options are trumpet is first, of course, clarinet, flute, alto saxophone, tuba, trombone, baritone, percussions, which are the bells, the cymbals, the drums, things of that nature. And with the chorus is a large group of students who sing together, okay? Students are taught music through vocal performance and by learning the basic fundamentals of singing and music literacy. So you can look for or sign up for those tryout opportunities, and your child should introduce themselves and express interest. If your child is kind of shy, go ahead and kind of practice that over the summer because it will be a lot of introductions. Now let's talk about the social lives of middle schoolers. Number one, problem solving. This is something that is very important for middle schoolers. The students' ability to problem solve and choose positive ways to interact with parents, teachers, and peers will aid in making their middle school experience successful. Okay, so problem solving is very important. Number two, making good choices. A part of growing up and gaining independence involves gaining the trust of who? Both teachers and parents. To do so, students must demonstrate responsibility and the ability to make good choices across settings. So number 2 is making good choices. Number 3, responsibility. Efforts and choices will directly affect grades, opportunities to participate in school sports activities, peer interactions, and relationships with adults both in and out of school. So, 1, problem solving, 2, making good choices, 3, responsibility. Now, let's talk about peer pressure. Well, what is peer pressure? Well, we do need to know that middle school is a time of great transition emotionally, physically, and socially. Peer pressure is an influence from members of one's peer group, whether positive or negative. Okay? So, examples of positive peer pressure are encouraging friends to study by offering to study with them or motivating them to work hard at a sport. Examples of negative peer pressure are encouraging friends to not go to class, be disrespectful to peers and teachers, or make overall bad choices. Now, let's talk about 6 tips to share with your child to best handle peer pressure because it may happen, right? So, number 1, find friends with similar interests, values, and beliefs. Whew, that is a big one. Number 2, speak up for yourself. Tell friends what you like and what you don't like. That is something that's very important for your child to know to do, to stand up for themselves. Number 3, they should say no to drugs. Number 4, avoid situations in which you know could get you in trouble. So as soon as your child sees it and it's like, red flag, get away, that's exactly what they should do. Avoid it at all costs. Number 5 is learn to handle conflicts in a positive way. Conflict doesn't always have to be presented in a negative way when they are responding to it. They can actually respond to it in a positive way. And number 6, talk with trusted adults about situations that you do not understand and make you feel uncomfortable. So they should have a village, even at school and at home and within their family, that they can talk to about situations where they don't understand it or something is making them uncomfortable. So those are 6 tips to share with your child to best handle peer pressure. Now, let's talk about bullying. Bullying is when someone repeatedly and on purpose says or does mean or hurtful things to another person. Bullying is a no. Help is always available to students who feel they are being bullied. And please use the resources, parents. If you do not see the resources being utilized or you do not know of the resources, ask someone, okay? They are there. They are to be utilized if you feel like your child is being bullied, okay? Students are always encouraged to report bullying behaviors to a trusted adult. Remember, bullying is not allowed. Your child should not bully anyone, and no one should bully your child. Now, making and choosing friends. This is something that is very important because going to middle school is a great opportunity, as Hayden mentioned earlier, about making new friends. Some tips to help your child make new friends are be friendly. Join a club or activity. Just say hi. Teach them to speak first. Be positive. Be yourself and stay away from drama. So those are tips to help your child make new friends. Student clubs and activities, okay? So some of the student clubs and activities that CHUH offer are art, chess, MSAN, which is Minority Student Achievement Network, UA, which is Unified Arts, Student Council, Yearbook, and many more. The specific clubs that are offered may change each year, and there is usually a fee to participate in some of the school clubs and activities. So ask those questions, send those emails, and get those answers. Next up, we're going to talk about school bus and dismissal. And this is a big one, okay? Because I was a bus rider, and honey, if you don't know that bus number, it will leave you. And you have to be prepared and ready to go when the buses are ready and prepared to go. Be there. So your child should know their bus number, their bus driver's name, the pickup time, the drop-off time, and the bus rules. Ask for this information during registration or before the school year begins. Remember, we're going to be proactive. The BOSSY educator is always pushing proactivity opposed to reactivity, okay? A list of bus routes should be available in the main office. The homeroom teacher or the advisory teacher, as some of you all may know, may have this information as well. There is also a faculty member, or should be a faculty member, outside that is available to assist students who are having trouble finding their bus. Remind your child to ask for help if they need it. Remember, they have to stand up for themselves and let people know if they need something. For dismissal, during dismissal, your child should pay attention to the announcements of their bus arrival so they don't miss their bus. However, because I've missed mine before, it happens. If your child misses the bus, they should find an adult to assist them immediately. Now, let's talk about lunch and cafeteria information. This is always very important to my students. So, lunch. Your child should follow all of the rules in the cafeteria, okay? When they get in the lunch line, your child should know their lunch selection and have their lunch number ready if needed. This will help the line move quickly. Please keep in mind, Cleveland Heights University Heights City School District provides free breakfast and lunch. If your child brings his or her lunch to school, they can usually proceed to the designated area to begin enjoying their lunch. Keep in mind, there may be assigned seats or tables in the cafeteria. In sixth graders, they usually eat together. Now, the first day of school information, what everybody's been waiting for, right? So let's go ahead and talk about the first day of school information. So your child should bring a few things: a positive attitude, patience, and their supplies from their school supply list, okay? Those are the things that they should bring with them on the first day of middle school. Now, what happens during advisory or homeroom? So during advisory, or what you may refer to as homeroom, your child will receive their schedule. Now, if changes are needed, they should ask their homeroom teacher who they should contact to help change their schedule. It is usually the school counselor. Your child may receive their student agenda as well, okay? Now, what happens during the school day? During the school day, your child will attend their classes as well as lunch. They should follow their schedule, and if they get lost, encourage them to ask for help. Make sure you have secured transportation for your child to get home, okay? Now, what happens after the school day? After the school day, your child should organize their belongings, prepare for dismissal, and guess what? The day one of middle school is done. Dun, dun, dun. I love it. 5 ways to calm first day jitters. Oh my God, parents, make sure you are listening to this. 5 ways to calm first day jitters. Here we go. Number 1, Hayden told you, she mentioned it. Visit the school ahead of time, get the locker, make sure you twist the lock, make sure the lock works, make sure you know where the locker is, what floor it's on. Maybe you can have a location where you can say, oh, okay, that's Miss Green's room. That's where my locker is located. So visit the school ahead of time and be prepared. Review the schedule with your child, and they should learn it before school starts. That's number 2. Review the schedule with your child, and they should learn it before school starts. And also, if you review that schedule and you see something there that you don't want your child to take or they're not interested in taking, then go ahead and make a notation of that and find out who you need to speak with before school starts. There are usually some people at the school before the first day of school. So go ahead and be proactive. Number 3, practice new routines. So that means that you need to go ahead and kind of do that early. So your child should start going to bed and waking up on the school schedule a couple of weeks before school actually begins, right? Be sure to review their bus stop route, and if they have one, your child needs to know their bus driver's name, their bus driving number, what time the bus comes, what time the bus picks them up, drops them off, all of that good stuff. And if anything changes, the school will definitely let you know. Your child should know also how they are arriving to school and leaving daily. So if it's not the bus, they need to know that it's going to be grandma on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and dad on Tuesday and Thursday. And if that switches up, the communication needs to definitely be clear. You never want them to be worried about how they're getting home. Number 4, review your child's school student handbook. Usually this is something that parents receive during orientation, or you may have had a child that went to that school before, or you can go ahead and ask for the student handbook before you get there. Once again, the Bossy Educator's favorite word, proactive, right? So go ahead and review your child's school student handbook. Here you will find the rules and consequences for dress code, internet use, restricted items such as cell phones, late arrivals and absences information, and overall school rules. And number 5, it is important for your child to know all of their parent contact information or have it on a card to show their teachers. Be sure to have an emergency contact on file as well. We are living in a real world. We want our children to be able to access you if something occurs at the school. So please be sure to have the contact information available. And whenever the contact information updates, please go ahead and provide the school with that information so they can update the student file. All right, friends. Well, guess what? We have come to the end of our presentation today for the workshop about how to successfully prepare your children to transition from elementary to middle school. Here you will find my QR code for my newsletter. We have sent out over $4 million worth of information about scholarship, internship opportunities, DA office internships. We just sent one out a few weeks ago. Meharry College has doctoral programs that they are providing scholarships for, all kinds of information, aviation programs, you name it. So please go ahead and click that QR code. You can sign up for the newsletter. And also, I would be so happy if you could complete the evaluation as well, because I want to know how you thought I did tonight. Feedback is everything, and that's how I improve as the Bossy Educator. Also remember the questions that I mentioned to you. Lisa, in a moment, she will provide you with that information so that you can send your questions via the Google form. And as far as the certificate is concerned, guess what? If you completed this workshop, I have a certificate just for you. And on the form that Lisa has, you will be able to provide your information there. Well, I am Tara Sills, the Bossy Educator. I've had so much fun today with the CHUH family. I really appreciate you all for inviting me. Thanks again to Lisa Hunt, the Family Engagement Specialist for CHUH. And here you will find my contact information, my website, thebossyeducator.com, Instagram at thebossyeducator, and also email at info@thebossyeducator.com. I will stop sharing my screen now and I will turn it over to Lisa. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining us this evening.
Tara, thank you. Oh my gosh, I am in awe of the amount of detail that you provided. I think what we've done here together is given them a really great leg up in support of the traditional things that we do for transitions. Absolutely. Well, I think we're almost ready to close, but I do have a couple of things that I would like to share in regard to resources and opportunities. So let's take a look here. This was the first installment of our webinar series. So I'd like to invite everyone to join us for the next transition series webinar, which will be April 26th from 6 to 7. That focus will be on transitioning from middle to high school. We'll have another set of amazing voices sharing their experiences and the things to know before you go. We'll be featuring Heights High School's freshman principal, Dr. Brandon Towns, 11th grade student, Ms. Egypt Syed, and our high school parent partner and PTA leader, Ms. Jen Holland. As we build this new approach, we'll be working on being more interactive. For now, if you'd like to submit questions, as Tara mentioned, we would love for you to submit it through the Google form, which is attached at the bottom of the YouTube video. We'll do our best to ensure that we answer all the questions that are submitted. And I encourage you to submit your questions, because if you're wondering, then more than likely someone else is wondering also. I'm very excited to also share that we will be hosting our in-person Heights Family Academy on Saturday, September 16th. It's our parent university, which is a conference-style day for Tiger Nation families and community members. Each year, the Academy provides interactive, timely info-rich workshops with an opening session that is meant to unite and inspire. It's all about building our capacity to strengthen our support for our school community. There will also be a special equity deep dive with our partners from Integrated Comprehensive Systems for Equity. And as always, this event is free to all CHUH school communities, and it includes breakfast, lunch, childcare, and lots of fun. I'd like to just take a moment and thank all of our presenters, our partners, our perspectives, all of the voices that joined us this afternoon. I'd like to thank each and every one of you greatly. I appreciate greatly your partnership. But for everyone who's watching also, I'd like to say thank you to our viewers for tuning in and spending some time with all of us. Please be sure to stay connected by following the district on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, our YouTube channel. And also go ahead and get a jump start on next year's newsletters by subscribing to your new middle school e-news. It can be found on your school specifics webpage. Again, this presentation video will be made accessible and will include the Google form for questions and feedback. Can everybody open up their cameras so we can wave a Tiger Nation goodbye to everyone? Hayden, are you still there? Katie, I see you. Thank you so much, guys. Let's make a goodbye wave to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Make tomorrow a terrific Tiger Nation Day, and thank you for being here.